You know, some people might actually suggest that the former royal known as Meghan Markle is incredibly lucky in many respects. Not simply, of course, marrying into one of the world's most famous, richest and, of course, respected families. No, that aside, of course, Meghan's done incredibly well, literally, from the fact that seemingly nothing sticks. When you think about it, her half-sister Samantha has tried her very best to make Meghan accountable in the court of law, but seemingly whatever she's doing never seems to, well, come through to the end. Some people might suggest, of course, as I've said on here, that it might be easier if Samantha didn't become so vocal in the public domain, but it's her choice. But what's interesting now is, a couple of months ago, we were promised this, well, tell-all revealing documentary series that was going to be made by German television ZDF. And it was literally going to be, well, blow the roof off, you know. This investigative journalist had apparently sourced out people that we'd never spoken to before, and they were now finally willing to tell their story. But what's truly gone wrong? Good to see you today, as ever. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll have a lovely wave. How are you? By the way, I'm glad you enjoyed the little sort of aside about the rationing of bread in that particular period of 1948. You know, you all agree with me, don't you, that bread today looks like it's been sold as rations now, doesn't it? It's that thin and tasteless. Is it like that in your part of the world? What have they taken out? I believe it's the salt and the sugar, because we're not allowed to have too much sugar or too much salt. You know, we couldn't possibly restrain ourselves, could we? But I don't know if you've noticed this, when you go in the supermarket, rows and rows and rows and rows of crisps and snacks and sweets, well, all the healthy stuff's way at the back. But we're stupid, aren't we? We'd just buy all the crisps. Never buy an apple, would we? Have you noticed how they turn everything around with you? Now, back as ever to your royal story of the day. As I say, this was going to be absolutely explosive, you know, and for once apparently this was going to be the thing that Meghan couldn't run away from. You know, the sort of skeletons in the closet were going to come rattling out, and we're all going to be told exactly the sort of person that she was. Of course, the key factor in Meghan's story, one that will never apparently speak out, is her first husband, some say Trevor Engelson. Now, he would have the story, but apparently he just doesn't want to get involved, only wants to move away from the ridiculousness of what is, of course, the Meghan Markle circus. But nonetheless, ZDF TV, German television, said they didn't need that. They'd got something even better. Now, sadly, they had to pull back a couple of weeks ago because certain individuals, I was told, decided to remove themselves from that project. Then they had another problem with the fact that they couldn't substantiate some of the claims of a previous person that they'd interviewed. You see how this works. And when I said Meghan was lucky at the beginning of this doco, well, the bottom line is, it does appear that Meghan is incredibly lucky, and this is simply because, you know, by the time, if this ever gets to air, it will such be a watered down affair that I've been told from a good source over at ZDF, it's just mildly amusing. It's certainly not going to break any pots, and apparently people do not want to go up against Meghan Markle or indeed her team. So what is it that she has the power that seemingly can squash her backstory? So people don't know. What does she have to hide? Even her own father is quite reluctant to reveal certain aspects of the life that so many people want to know. And yet, time and time again, we're told these people have the explosive story. But for now, over in Germany, what you were promised is certainly not going to crack any pots. And once again, it looks like the former cable TV actress Meghan Markle has a victory on her hands. Now, what do you think to that? Neil Shawn in the very heart of Yorkshire.